Hello, and welcome to Freedom Reads, Antibias Book Talk, the new video series from Teaching for Change. We talk about children's books through an anti-bias, anti-racist lens as a strategy to learn ways to talk about issues around race and the world with children. Today's book is Just a Minute, a Trickster tale and counting book written and illustrated by Yuyi Morales. I am your host, Allyson Criner Brown, and I use she and her pronouns. This series is designed to help parents, caregivers, and educators who are wrestling with two important questions. How do I talk to kids about race and racism? And how do I further my own learning to be anti-racist and anti-bias? Each episode of this series includes a synopsis of the book and then 4 to 5 key points through an anti-bias lens. Watch the introductory video to learn more about Teaching for Change and this series. Go to the video description for links to the resources mentioned today and for links to our book list on socialjusticebooks.org. And go to teachingforchange.org to show your support and appreciation by making a donation to sustain and grow this work. Before we dive in, there are 2 quick announcements. Number 1, the key resource that you should read and refer to for this series is called The Guide for Selecting Anti-Bias Children's Books. It's available on socialjusticebooks.org and is linked below. Number 2, Just a Minute is on several book lists at socialjusticebooks.org. Our Afro-Latinx list, Latinx and Latin America list, and our Grandparents and Elders book list. You'll find these and more links on the resource page for this video. The subject of today's talk is Just a Minute, published in 2003. This book is recommended for elementary and early childhood, including toddlers. It is an absolute favorite with my 6-year-old and my 2-year-old. Yuyi Morales is a celebrated, award-winning author and illustrator. She was born in Mexico and immigrated to the United States in 1994. Among her writings, interests, and activism, Yuyi has been vocal on immigration issues and the injustice of caging children at the U.S.-Mexico border. Here's a synopsis. In Just a Minute, Grandma Beale receives an unexpected visit from Señor Calavera, a personified version of the sugar skulls and skeletons that adorn the altars for celebrations of Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, in contemporary Mexico and among those of Mexican cultural heritage. It is time, Señor Calavera says, for Grandma Beale to come with him. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beale says, repeating task after task until Señor Calavera has unwittingly helped finish the preparations for Grandma Beale's birthday party with her grandchildren. Spoiler alert. Señor Calavera has the time of his afterlife. This trickster tale is Yuyi Morales' spin on a traditional story, and it's a fun and witty journey counting in English and Spanish. Also, if you really like this book, you'll enjoy the sequel called Just in Case, a trickster tale and Spanish alphabet book. Señor Calavera comes back for Grandma Beale's birthday party the next year, but he doesn't know what to bring her for a present. Here are 4 key points to pull out about this book from an anti-bias lens. Number 1, Just a Minute is a trickster tale, one of the oldest and most universal forms of storytelling. Around the world, trickster tales are one of the ways that we are alike and we are different. From Anansi the Spider to the Coyote and First Nations tales, Brer Rabbit, Maui, Loki, Rumpelstiltskin, trickster tales are a staple of cultures around the world, past and present, and they've been used to pass down cultural values and knowledge for centuries. They are fun, but with a purpose. Trickster tales share lessons about how to challenge power and injustice using our wits and our wisdom. As I mentioned in an earlier episode of Freedom Reads, your anti-bias collection should include stories that are fun and well-told, in addition to being informative. Now is a good time to mention that Yuyi Morales filmed a couple of live-action videos with a puppet version of Señor Calavera that you can watch with kids. We link to those videos on the resource page for this episode. Number 2, for this story, Yuyi Morales draws from her Mexican heritage and takes readers below the surface into deep culture. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, is a prominent holiday in Mexican culture that takes place from November 1st to 2nd each year. What's particularly valuable about this book is that Morales gives readers insights into cultural views of death. Señor Calavera, which can be translated as Mr. Death, literally comes knocking on Grandma Beale's door to take her to the afterlife. While particular to this tale, this is a much different perspective of death compared to how it's approached, or mostly avoided, in popular culture in the United States and many other places. If they are like my children, young readers will be surprised that Grandma Beale greets death by saying, "I will go with you right away." And when the party is finally over, she announces, "I am ready, Señor Calavera." Of course, as the book continues, we see that really, Grandma Beale has other plans in mind. Number 3, Just a Minute is on our grandparents and elders book list because it offers a refreshing portrayal of an older adult, a grandmother in particular, that challenges stereotypes about older people. Furthermore, Grandma Beale is the cunning protagonist of the story, who is so sharp she outwits death. To make Grandma Beale the trickster in the story gives individuality and agency to an older adult that we don't often see in children's books and media. My kids love to mimic all the different ways Grandma Beale might have said, "Just a minute, Señor Calavera." And my oldest child came up with ways that she would trick Señor Calavera if he showed up at our door. Yuyi Morales, you should know, also created a site with an online quiz to see whether you could trick Señor Calavera. That link is included in the resource page for this book. Finally, Grandma Beale and her grandchildren are darker-skinned characters, which is worth noting because of the limited representation of Afro-Latinx and Indigenous people in children's books. A review of this book by Beverly Slapin for the De Colores blog states, quote, "And here is Grandma Beale. She's a strong, dark, round-cheeked, Zaftig Indian woman with sparkles in her gray hair and in her eyes as well. She's single-handedly enjoying her work, grinding corn, wielding a machete to slice a watermelon, filling piñatas, carrying the huge ollas to the table. It matters for Latinx children and all children to see Indigenous people and Afro-Latinx heritage represented in the books that they read." Also, the De Colores review is linked on the resource page. Again, the story is Just a Minute, a trickster tale and counting book written and illustrated by Yuyi Morales. Find a link to the videos, book review, and more resources mentioned in this video in the video description below. Visit us online for book lists and more resources at socialjusticebooks.org. And please support this work by sharing this video and by making a donation at teachingforchange.org. Hope to see you for the next episode of Freedom Reads Anti-Bias Book Talk. Until then, please follow, subscribe, donate, and share this. Peace, love, and justice.